What up? What up? What up? This Ibn Webb, Quran and some here. Official Thanksgiving going down here. Man, the blessings they just continue to come my way in regards to doing this here. Maurice Williamson, Connecticut's own. I think he got a little jersey in him too, but Connecticut's own, diehard Connecticut, New Haven man. You know, the name rings bells. The Williamson name throughout Connecticut, obviously in New Haven here. Just coming up to school in Connecticut as far as college here, just getting an opportunity, the sports junkie that I am, to just hear and learn about, those who did this, did that, and whatever sports here. I mean, I just tried to follow or learn about it, just hear about, listening to others there. I want to say what's up to Phil as well too. He was just like, you try and get Maurice on here. So I think I pulled it off. So looking forward to just kicking it with him, getting to know him a little bit here, and we're just gonna go from there. Hold tight. Good. Peace, man. How you doing? I'm Ibn.
I'm doing good in yourself.
Good, good. First, thank you, man. I know I took a stab at you here and there and everywhere, man. So I appreciate you just taking some time out, man. I know you crazy busy and everything, man. So I appreciate the solid. I really do.
I appreciate you you know, asking me to come join your podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a name here because he was like, Ib, you need to reach out to him. Phil Plummer, ring a bell?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
nah,
sir.
yeah. Feels like try and reach out to him, see if you can get him. Yeah, I went to Southern with him.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I worked with Phil for a couple of years. We played in a couple of men's basketball team together.
hmm
Real good dude.
Yeah, no, definitely. Our worlds intertwine a little bit more. I'm gonna jog your memory a little bit if you can. Speaking of working with folks, did you used to work with a gentleman named Marcus Starworth?
Oh, that's my man, yo. How's
Yeah,
he doing?
he's good. He's real good. I mean, I still do stuff with him to this day here. I know back when he was ripping and running down there with you. He was in the rap group there too. He was
Right,
rapping.
right.
Yeah, I was one of his partners in the group too, man.
Okay. All right, all right.
Yeah,
When you when
yeah.
when you when you speak to him, let him know I asked about him.
Most definitely, man. And I should ask first and foremost, you holding up, family? Everybody good?
Everybody's doing good. I hope everybody's doing good on your end also.
Yes, yes. And I want to congrats on your season. I know they end up the way you guys wanted to, but I know y'all had some big W's along the way though.
Yeah, we had some big W's. I mean, we lost a couple of games that I thought we should have won.
hmm
But our boys, they played their behinds off. You know what I'm saying? I can be super not I'm super proud of these guys because
Okay.
they worked hard.
Now you got a group coming back, or was it senior heavy?
No, to be honest with you, we only had one senior that really played.
hmm
So majority of our guys were juniors and sophomores, and we had a couple of freshmen that we threw in the mix just to get ready for next year.
Okay. Oh, so y'all should be looking good.
So hopefully, yeah, we hopefully we be all right for next year.
Okay, no, that's good stuff. Good stuff, man. Jump back to this cross thing in a sec, man. I know you done did a few of these or just spoke to people throughout your life, man. So I might get a little nosy, and my fault if there's any repetitive,
Nah,
but
nah,
they.
good, do your thing.
Nah, I know. Where were you? New Haven. You were born. I mean, obviously, you got some ties, New Jersey ties, with your dad and everything. But were you were born in New Haven for the most part?
Born and raised right here in New Haven.
hmm
Grew up in New Haven until my dad was playing pro ball with the Nets. We ended up moving to Long Island for a few.
Okay.
Then he got traded to Indiana Pacers. So I lived in Indiana for a couple of years.
hmm
Came back to New Jersey. He got traded to Washington. I didn't move to Washington with him,
Okay. Okay.
but we kept our house in Jersey. And I say around 1984, I was getting ready to start my high school high school years, my freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of told my dad I want to follow in his family footsteps of him, my uncle, my aunt Bridget, and play for Wilbur Cross.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I end up coming back to New Haven.
Okay. Okay. Interesting you say that though. As far as just the growing up piece, I mean, how would you describe your childhood? I mean, was it normal like everybody else, or I mean, everybody's normal is different, man. But how was yours, activity wise, everything else here?
To be honest with you, it was normal. I mean, you know, people look at me growing up as the son of a NBA player,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think my life was any different than a lot of normal kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my lifestyle, we weren't flashy or anything.
Okay.
Um, so we were really down to earth family and very family oriented. So I didn't see my life being any different than anybody else's.
Yeah. Now, was you thrust to playing basketball? Or did you have other hobbies and interests as a kid?
To be honest with you, I think basketball was just natural.
Got you.
I've been around it since I could walk,
Mm-hmm.
so I've been playing basketball. Like I said, since I could walk, I remember putting garbage cans on both ends of a hallway in my grandmother's house with a tennis ball running up
Yeah.
and down the hallway, tearing up her walls. So
Mm-hmm.
it's always been embedded in me.
Nah, most definitely here. As far as playing organized, when did you start doing that?
Organized ball, probably in that I really thought that I can really play on a basketball team was probably my middle school years when I was living in South Orange, New Jersey.
Okay.
Um, I didn't think I was going to make the middle school team because I think I probably was the shortest one or the youngest one on the team, but I ended up making it, and starting, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, then I was like, all right, I think I can do this. And, gradually my father, introduced me to different levels of competition because the middle school I went to, I think we probably had like the whole middle school, we probably had like 5 Black kids in the whole middle school.
Yeah.
So living in South Orange, it's a hop, skip, and a jump. It's like from New Haven to Hamden. We ended up going to Newark, where we had some family members, and
Mm-hmm.
he wanted to test my skills. So he took me to Newark, and we ended up playing in a couple of summer leagues down there. And I think that really fueled my competitiveness.
Now, let me give you a little sound. I'm a Jersey boy, so I know everything you were just talking about. As far as
Okay,
South Orange, I grew up. I was born in North. I was raised in Orange, so I'm familiar with
okay.
the South Orange, East Orange, Newark, all that stuff there. So when you say South Orange and only about 5 Blacks in it, I totally believe you. I know
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
I know all about it. Yeah, I know
I
all
I
about it.
remember living in South Orange. We ended up moving to East Orange
Okay,
on what's it, South Harrison Street?
this is South
I think
Harrison.
that yeah, South Harrison Street. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
and I want to say the middle school that I ended up going to, junior high school, was it Martin Luther King
You had Hart
Middle
Middle,
School?
you had Hart Middle, and you had VLD Middle School. I'm not sure if Martin Luther King. You could be right. I could be a little off here. I've been in Connecticut sometimes, so for a time. But
Okay,
yeah. Oh, but
but
you was in East Orange. Okay.
so here's the funny part. I graduated from middle school in East Orange,
Mm-hmm.
and my dad is like, I'm going to East Orange High School.
Mm.
So first few days was rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
I seen a lot of fights. I seen shootings. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yo, I can't do it here. I got to go to New Haven.
Mm-hmm.
But not knowing East Orange, Newark, it's
New
kind of the same
Haven.
thing as New Haven.
Yeah, and ain't no different. And it's interesting you mentioned the EO too. That basketball tradition too. Just the city of East Orange as well too. Like a lot of people that came through there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, but you wanted to follow your dad's footsteps and get back up to New Haven. It sounds like.
Yeah. Well, one, I want to be around more of my family, as far as cousins that were going to high school,
Okay.
So I want to go to high school with them, but I also want to play under our legendary coach Bob Salisbury.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of my goals, and I'm happy that I made that decision.
Nah, definitely. So you go back up top here, man, like right in sophomore. You starting varsity right from the gate, or you had to earn your stripes?
Well, like I said, I left East Orange High. I only went there for I want to say about 2 months.
Oh, you was
And
playing around. You went.
I was out. I was out.
Okay.
So I came right in time for basketball tryouts, which was around the Thanksgiving weekend. I told Coach Salisbury I enrolled in cross. I was happy to be there, but when I got there, we already had a solid team with a guy named Ron Moy, Troy Bradford, Wilbur Frazier, and I play a lot of varsity in the beginning. JV, but I had to work my way up, and those guys did not take it light on me. They made sure that I earned everything if I want to be on that team. And there's a photo that I have on my Facebook page of that team. Out of the 12 guys in that picture, I want to say 9 to 10 of them were Division I ball players.
Okay.
And towards the end of the season, tournament time, I got thrusted in as a freshman to start, and we end up winning the state championship.
Freshman year, and you ended up starting in the championship game and all that as well too.
Yes, sir. Scored the first 2 points.
Oh, you remember that? Look at you. Wow, and that's great. Just being from New Haven, I mean, obviously basketball tradition, and not only you guys, but Hill House and everything else here. So from there, I guess the Maurice show begins, man. Like it sounds like.
Well, like I said, a lot of guys, tested me because of who I was and who my father was. They want to make sure if I was going to play for Cross or play at Gulf Street Park, I had guys test me every day. So I had to battle.
Mm-hmm. Now, in the summer times, I mean, I know you mentioned Gulf Street. I mean, what did you wind up doing in the summer? I know the AAU thing wasn't really jumping like it is now, but summer camps or just playing around the way.
Well, we did Salisbury sent a lot of us to 5-star basketball camp where we played against the best of the best.
Yes.
From around the country, but far as here in Connecticut, we had some travel teams that I played on. We ended up going to Hartford, Boston Shootout.
Okay.
And one of my favorite summer leagues we used to play in Waterbury called Pearl Street.
Okay.
Where, I played against a lot of those guys down that way, Bridgeport, Waterbury area.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I mean, obviously you just kept busy with that. And how was it? I know you've heard this before, but like the pressure. I mean, again, you seen, your father's name and all throughout the gym, and I'm sure you just hear it everywhere you went. I mean, how did you just deal with all that as far as just not only high school but just throughout?
Well, the pressure really, I don't think really start getting to me till I want to say after my sophomore year. I'm gonna give you a quick gem. You know me as Maurice Williamson, right?
Yes.
That's not my first name.
Okay.
My first name is John.
Mm.
So once the pressure started, getting my name in the paper, it was always John Williamson, son of Super John Williamson. So I was like, I'd rather be my own man. You know what I'm saying? I want to make my own name. So all growing up, my family never called me John. Everybody called me Maurice. So I told everybody, call me Maurice from now on, because it was a lot of pressure to live up to my father, and not only, like I said, not only my father, but my aunts, my uncle Jiggy, who played in across, and they were the #1 team in the nation with Scoop Campbell. So
Yeah.
it was a lot of pressure, you know, just to hold up that name.
Mm-hmm. Nah, it sounds like it. And then entering that sophomore year here, how'd you guys do?
Well, after my freshman year winning the state championship, you know, I think the next 3 years we get to that last game to go to the chip, and
Yeah.
we end up losing it. But we was a lot of I'll say after my sophomore year, my junior senior year, we was underachievers
Okay.
because like I said, I believe we could have won 3 or 4 state championships, but you know, it just so happens, you know, my junior year, one of our big men, Gerald McLeese, who's assistant coaching me at Cross now,
Mm-hmm.
the 2 days before we're getting ready to play West Haven for the semis, he breaks his jaw in practice.
Mm.
You know, and that left us with you know, one of our star players down. Then my senior year, not to say that, you know, we didn't have anybody, but you know, we were small,
Okay.
and a lot of our wins came from just being off of, you know, full court pressing and
Mm-hmm.
out hustling everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And then you mentioned that as far as the pressing and being kind of small senior, but just yourself individually, whether it was high school or even before then, like when you realize like I'm kind of nice. Did that ever like hit you like I'm kind of good at this?
uh, I really don't know when I could say I really thought I was good. I knew I could play the games, and
Mm-hmm.
I was never afraid of the competition.
Okay.
But I'll say around my junior year, we had a game, and I think I ended up tying my father's record at Cross with 51 points.
Mm.
And from there on, I was like, all right, I want to break Earl Kelly's record, which was 61. If I can get 51, I'm gonna get 61 my senior year.
Okay. Yeah.
And my senior year, I end up breaking the state record, which is still a state record to today, with 78 points.
Mm.
So I want to say around my junior year, I kind of came into my own.
Okay. Now we're not gonna gloss over that 78 like it ain't nothing. Yeah, I mean, like you probably thought about or heard about it like throughout your whole life, man. Like, what kind of zone was you in?
Well, to be honest with you, the day before we end up playing Hill House, which is our arch rivals,
Mm-hmm.
a game that I thought we should have won. We end up losing, and a lot of the guys on the Hill House team, we were mad cool friends, but
Yeah.
on the court there was no friends. Off the court, we were friends, so I couldn't take that loss. So a couple of guys came over to my house after the game. You know, we're eating dinner. My mom would cook and stuff, and these guys are joking around. So I'm like, yo, man, we just lost to these guys, and we got to hear it, you know, throughout the town.
Mm-hmm.
So come the next day, we're playing. I forgot the team from New York. I think Long Island. They came in to the game, which was supposed to have been a snowed out game, but they were already en route, so the game proceeded. When they came in the gym, they looked at our team. Like I said, we were small my senior year, and they were like, "Oh man, this team's small. We about to run through them." I heard that.
Yeah.
I was like, "Man, there's no way in hell I'm gonna let you guys just come in here and disrespect us."
And y'all out of towners.
Yeah. So as the game is flowing, I'm just, you know, going with the motion. And at halftime, I'm coming out the locker room and this lady tells me, keep shooting, keep shooting. You got 40 points. I'm like, there's no way in hell I got 40 points at halftime. It
Mm-hmm.
just didn't seem like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess when my teammates heard that, they started feeding me the ball.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, man, I need y'all to shoot. I'm getting double team, triple team. Yo, shoot. They're like, nah, we getting you the ball. We're gonna screen for you. We're gonna get you open. just keep shooting, just keep shooting. So at the end of the game, I think I checked myself out with like 3 minutes to go in the game, which Salisbury to this day yells at me because I was exhausted.
You took your own self out, yeah? Okay.
I mean, we were already winning convincingly.
Okay.
So I had faith in my team, you know, to hold the lead. So I was like, yo, I'm done. There's no way I can go anymore because I was just totally drained. And I think if I didn't sit myself out that game, that last 3 minutes, I probably could have had at least 80, 90 points that game. Well, I know I could have had 80 because I only had 78, but I could have had about 90 points that game.
Yeah, look at you, only 78. Yeah, so
But here's the funny story about that. You
mhm.
know, everybody's, you know, all happy that I broke the record. And it still really never sunk in to me that I scored 78 until I get home. So my father, we're talking, and he's like, you know, you just broke a record. I was like, yeah, you know, it's no big deal. He said, nah, it is a big deal. But out of all of that, the man wasn't impressed because I missed 7 free throws. So throughout the night, I'm getting lectured about 7 free throws. Then it dawned on me like, yo, I scored 78 points and you yelling at me for 7 free throws? It was rough.
Nah, that's apparent though. They ain't gonna let you get too high.
Nah, he didn't let me get too high about it. So I heard about that, some 7 points. I mean, 7 free throws.
How was it then that next time in school, man? I'm sure everybody was excited for you, man, and it was just probably a little different, I'm sure.
Yeah, everybody, you know, was excited, you know, that I broke the record. A lot of teachers, you know, framed the article for me, you know. But the person that I am, I'm kind of low key, humble guy.
Okay.
Even to this day, you know, I kind of downplay it,
Yeah.
but you know, the student body and the faculty, they were very happy that I accomplished that goal.
Nah, most definitely, man. And I know even with that, and did you always have college on your mind as far as the play at the high level past high school?
Well, back then, you know, everybody, the Big East was big back when I was
Right,
coming up. So
right.
everybody wanted to play in the Big East. Everybody thought, you know, we can go play at Georgetown, St. John's, UConn. Those was our, you know, the goals that we set for ourselves. So playing college basketball was one of my goals.
Okay.
And that's one thing I strive for. And I tell my kids, there's a difference between loving and liking basketball. Neither one is wrong, but when we grew up, we loved basketball because we want to go to school. We want to get a scholarship because our parents couldn't afford to send us to school.
Yeah.
You know, nowadays, you know, you got parents that have good jobs or whatever. You know, we learned from our parents, you know, mistakes of saving money.
Yes.
So now this generation here, parents can afford school. They know about student loans and all that. We didn't know about all that back then. So I think the kids like basketball, but they're not, you know, shooting for, I want to get a scholarship. I want to help my parents out so they don't have to go into debt to send me to school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, absolutely. No, makes a whole lot of sense there. And even with that said, what schools are you looking at before you ultimately decided on going to LSU? Was anybody else in the mix?
Well, my two schools that I was really interested in one was Boston College.
Okay.
One, it wasn't far away from home. Two, the head coach at the time was a gentleman by the name of Al Skinner. Al Skinner played up with my father with the Nets.
I say
They won
Jersey
two.
guy, yeah.
Yeah, so you know, I knew Al growing up, so that was one of my choices. And then my second choice was either Florida State.
Oh,
At the time, Fairmont Mays, who played at Hill House. He was at Florida State, so I wanted to go down to Florida State and play with Theron. My third school was Norfolk State. I went on a tour of the HBCU schools, with my student body at Cross. Kind of fell in love with Norfolk State. LSU didn't come into the picture to the very end.
Okay.
Dale Brown and Coach Salisbury were good friends. Excuse me. Dale also had recruited my dad when my dad was in high school.
Okay.
So when LSU came, I was like, that's kind of far away. I don't know if I'm, going to make it down there by myself. But when I took the trip to go to LSU, they made me feel like I was at home. You know what I'm saying? At the time, they was telling me about the recruiting class that they had at the time. With two McDonald's All-American at the time. One was Stanley Roberts, and the other one was Chris Jackson, who changed his name to Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. So, and then we had some other pieces around us. So I was like, this thing could work. So, I came home after the recruiting trip. I told my dad, I said, this is the place I want to go to. And plus, I got away from the snow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was. I asked. I said, "Is the weather like this all year round?" They was like, "Yeah." I said, "I'm good. I'm here."
Yeah. Nah, that's crazy. Even like I said, all the choices you have ultimately going down there. So Baton Rouge is like night and day from New Haven, man. And you mentioned about the distance too, man. How was all of that, man? The transition, culturally, everything. I mean, like, how did you adjust?
At first it was a hard transition, but I think my teammates played a vital role in getting me adjusted because like on Thanksgiving, Christmas time, I end up going to their homes and seeing how they live and their families, embracing me like I'm one of theirs.
Yes.
So they made the transition real easy. Once I got comfortable.
Now, even with the basketball team, do you find out what's the difference, obviously, between high school basketball and collegiate basketball, like playing wise, but also the business of it?
Well, I'll give you a story. Like I said, coming from New Haven, all state, all American, whatever. I'm going down to the South. I done played against, all the top players in New York, Boston, DC. There's no way in hell a country boy can beat a city boy in basketball.
Right.
And I tell the story of how I go to the gym late one night, thinking I'm gonna get some shots up by myself in the gym. Lo and behold, there's someone there before me, Chris Jackson.
Yeah.
He's on one end, I'm on the other end. And I said, you know what? This is a guy that, we're gonna probably play the same position. So let me see what he has. I never saw Chris play in high school. Now, I tell you what, that was the first time that I came to grips with reality that there was someone better than me.
Yeah.
Because he wore my ass out. And I was like, whoever's going for that next guard position, they're gonna have a tough time getting it because whatever Chris is doing, I'm doing.
And interesting you said it's how'd that make you? I mean, did you just make you work that much harder as far as outside of the games and everything? Just your work ethic, did it just step up a notch or two watching him?
Well, I always had a great work ethic. Like my father, we used to run every day. Before I was even in high school, we used to run. I don't know if, like you said, you're from Jersey. If you know there's a big hill going up towards South Orange.
Talk about South Mountain and you go up South Orange Ave. I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
Now we live all the way at the top of that, so I had to run down to South Orange Ave.
Okay.
So where they had South Orange Middle, and then there's like the plazas in the stores.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, the village. Yeah, I know
So
what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, the village. Yeah. So I'll have to run all the way down there and run
Mm-hmm.
all the way back up.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I know
So
exactly.
I've been doing that since I was in middle school. So
Okay.
my work ethic was on point. But like I said, once I met Chris Jackson, I had to step up another notch.
Mm-hmm. How was the games though? I mean, again, I know outside you was putting in that work too, but just competing and playing in you're in the SEC, so you got all these other top notch schools, man. How you felt you went up against them as far as at least initially?
Well, my team, I thought we could go up against anybody.
Yeah.
We had some legit players, and the competition, like I said, it was to me it was regular, and not taking nothing away from any of the great players that I played against. I played against a lot of them,
Mm-hmm.
but once I was on that court, you had to go all out.
Right.
And every night, we were in a dogfight. Either we were at Kentucky playing against Mashburn, Arkansas playing against Todd Day,
Yeah.
Tennessee playing against Allen Houston.
Mm-hmm.
So every night you had to come with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, even being down, and you mentioned Stanley Robertson and Chris Jackson, you get another big guy to come into town. I mean, it must have just been like crazy on campus. I mean, I think with all of you guys down there, man, I can only imagine, man. How was it, man? This is just maybe the group in me coming out a little bit, just with you being down there and everybody like, yeah, I had
Now
expectations.
you
I said
said
that
what now?
it's probably the groupie coming out of me right now, as far as in regards to just the expectations for you guys, like was through the
Oh, the,
roof.
the expectations were high.
Yeah, yeah,
With Chris coming off of his freshman year All American.
yeah.
Then the next year you got me. Me and Stanley had to sit out our first year.
Mm-hmm.
So you got me and Stan coming in, and now you got Big Shaq coming in. So the expectations were high. We were supposed to be, Final Four
Yeah.
championship. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But unfortunately, we didn't gel together. I think at that team there's a lot of individual things going on,
Okay.
and we just didn't put it together that year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I wish we could have, because we could have really made some noise. After that year, Chris leaves,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that really hurt us. But we ended up getting some good recruits coming in, and
Mm-hmm.
we just never couldn't get over the hump.
What do you think it was? Is more the individual stuff going on, or was it other factors?
I think just individual stuff.
Okay.
Some people had different goals on the team, whatever. I'm not pointing any of my brothers out because I love them,
Yeah.
but there was just some stuff going on.
Okay.
But like I said, we didn't really let it affect us. But everybody had to play their role.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that first year I played, Chris was the man. So Chris took this many shots, whatever. Next year we got to feed it inside to the big fellas. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So we had to play our role. So I think one game that stood out for me, that I think if we would have played that way the whole year, we would have went really high in the tournament. Or two games we played against UNLV with Larry Johnson.
When it came down to y'all, right?
Yes, and that game right there was a straight in the park game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mano a mano, who's the best of the best.
Mm-hmm.
Then we played Hank Gathers with Lella Marymount.
Mm-hmm.
That was a track meet, so we were all just hooping. There was no plays called. Just go out there and hoop.
Yeah. No time to get tired.
Nah. And God rest Hank you know what I'm saying? The week after we played him, he passes away, during the heart complications playing. But those two games, I think if we would have played that style of game for the whole year, we'd have really went far.
Now you mentioned those two teams, and again, you got Vegas coming in, like you said, with Johnson, Augman, that whole crew there. Now your game, again, how did you? I mean, you coming off, high school, averaging pretty much 40 points a game, give or take. I mean, but just having to blend in, man, was it an issue for you? I mean, I know you say you're pretty humble and everything, but in the same breath, you're a competitor. So
Well,
how that work?
I'm a competitor, but I'm also gonna do what I got to do to stay on the court.
Okay.
Like I said, we had rules. Like I said, we knew Chris was the main guy, the shooter. So my focus I had to play defense. I had to play the best guard.
Okay.
Who that night? You know what I'm saying? Whenever it get kicked back out from the big guys, I got knocked down the shot. So, like I said, everybody played their role.
Okay.
There was no, why am I not getting these touches? Why am I not, the offense isn't run through me? We played our roles. And I think that's what really made us a tight group of guys, because to this day, those guys are still my brothers. And we talk on a regular, So, I love those guys. Man.
Nah, most definitely, man. But as you mentioned, I think even, adjusting your game a little bit, that show even the next level as far as like, hey, you're able to adjust and do different things here. So when obviously as your career winds down at LSU, are you thinking NBA? You thinking overseas? Are you thinking pretty much playing the pros at some level?
Well, that was that was everybody's goal, try to make it to the NBA. Unfortunately, that role was not for me. You know what I'm saying? I tried out for a couple of teams, played in the CBA for a couple of years, went overseas to China and Japan to play. I wouldn't trade anything. Like I tell these kids, the ultimate goal is first get that college education.
Yes.
And then if the pros is there, you go on to the pros, but 9 times out of 10, you're not going to make the pros. So don't let that damper, what you have to accomplish in life, because, some people that base going to the pros on everything. And then once it doesn't happen, they fall into a rut. You know what I'm saying? So that shouldn't be your only goal.
Yeah, no, definitely. You mentioned ruts and everything, like just not reaching that pinnacle, that dream of yours here. How did that work for you? Just like mentally, like to shake whatever, as far as not being able to reach that plateau. Did you realize, all right, let me just buckle up and do something else with my life?
I mean, the first time that I ever got cut from a basketball team was probably in the CBA, and it was a hurt feeling, you know what I'm saying? But I understood it was a business also.
Okay.
Just growing up with my dad, being traded from different teams to team, I understood it was a business. It may not be based off your talent. It's just that they bringing in somebody that can help them win more. You know what I'm saying? So I understood it was a business. Like I said, it hurt. But you got to move on to the next adventure. So I ended up signing a couple of contracts overseas, playing overseas.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it.
Now you say you was in China. What other countries did you go to?
I've been to China, Japan, Australia.
Yeah.
So I did that for a few years until I ended up coming back. I want to say I came back like in the 95, 96. It might have been, around 95, 96. my dad was ill with kidney failure,
Okay.
and my dad ended up passing. So that kind of took a lot of the basketball drive out of me,
Hmm.
because now, I'm playing for myself, but my drive was, let my dad see me play.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And once he passed, I think, I went to a major depression.
Mm.
I still had teams calling to come overseas and play, and I just didn't want to go. And another aspect, I was having my second child,
Okay.
and I wanted to be around, to raise my second child, because my first child I had it when I was at LSU,
Hmm.
and I said around my last year at LSU, I didn't get a chance to really raise her.
Yeah.
So once my daughter was being born, I was like, I think I need to stay grounded here in New Haven
Hmm.
and take care of my daughter, and plus also, take care of my mom and everything.
And that's what family do. That's what family do. I mean, and then so basketball still around, but it fades a little bit here. So what you wind up just doing with yourself since then?
Well, I end up, like I said, working with Phil Plummer at the Children's Center.
Okay.
That was something that I needed to do to try to help other kids
No.
out. So give back the knowledge that I have to them. And then a few years after that, working at the Children's Center, somebody asked me to coach a bitty basketball. That was that
Yeah.
was that was that was far from my mind of being a coach.
Hmm.
But I think once I got into it, I started enjoying it, and like I said, I wanted the kids to learn and experience the things that I experienced. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? As far as
Mhm.
may not have been going to a big school like LSU, but just to go to a university and play basketball.
Hmm.
So that's what I end up doing, and still doing it to this day.
Nah, that's all right. And you mentioned basketball here. Um, what has it given you that sticks with you to this day?
Say that again.
What has basketball given you that sticks with you to this day?
It's given me what can I say? It gives me a lot of joy just to see the kids, take pride in the game. I
Hmm.
mean, I tell the kids like every day, the basketball can take you all around this world,
That's right.
and see, things that you may not, be able to afford to see. You know what I'm saying? I never would have thought that I would go to Africa.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Basketball took me there.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, use basketball as much as possible to get what you want out of life.
Nah, most definitely, man. And just hearing a little bit about this too, man. I'm sure man, that passport, them stamps was pretty heavy up in there too, man. So
Yes, they
and
were.
I
Yes,
and
they
I
were.
and I was based off of Spalding too, and ball,
Yeah,
yeah,
all day, all
yeah.
day.
Nah, definitely here. Well, you got a couple more minutes for me?
Yeah, I'm glad.
Cool. Yeah, this part, man, I like to just ask some random questions, some not so random here, put you on the spot a little bit, have a little fun here if that's all right.
All right.
Cool. So when you're in the whip, man, you prefer 95 or the merit?
The mirror.
Oh, even at nighttime?
Can't even at nighttime.
Man, you can have
I
that.
can
You can
I cannot stand 95. I take
yeah.
mirror all day.
Yeah, at nighttime and no traffic jam too. So all right, hopefully you got some good beats up in the whip when
Oh,
the
you
traffic
have to.
jam
You
hit.
have to.
Okay. Whaley Ave or Dixwell Ave?
Well, I grew up on both sides. Wellesley Avenue or Dixwell Avenue. I got to go with Dixwell Avenue because that's the area that I grew up in.
Okay. Sandra's or Jimmy's?
Which Jimmy's are you talking about? The
Which one?
seafood Jimmy?
Which Jimmy? Not the clothing store. I thought the
No,
seafood
no,
store.
no. I'm talking the seafood store
Yeah, the
in West
seafood
Haven.
spot. The seafood spot. Yeah, we'll spill over to West Haven a little bit. But
Oh,
Sandra's
all
or
day
Jimmy?
Sandra's. All day Sandra's.
All
I
day.
wasn't. I wasn't. I wasn't a big Jimmy's fan.
Okay. Okay. Now we talking. You going Power or Snowfall?
Power of Snowfall. Wow, those are two of my favorite shows. Those are two of my favorite shows. Gotta go with Power just because the spinoffs.
The spinoff joints. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Basketball put to the side. Family. You just put on hold for a sec. Like, what does Maurice like to do?
Well, Maurice is into fishing.
Okay. All right.
That's my second hobby, my second love. I love to go fishing, and I was just talking to a friend of mine today about blackfishing starts tomorrow,
Mm.
and they were trying to get me to go out. I'm not a fan of the cold weather, so I told them it has to warm up a little bit for me to go out there.
Okay. Okay. Now, LSU across.
Wow, can't choose either one of them over.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Coach Salisbury, Coach Brown.
Got to go with Coach Salisbury.
Yeah.
Just to the simple fact, no, I love Coach Brown, but Coach Salisbury has been in my life since I was a baby.
Mm.
He's making it tough, man. Those are two tough ones. Wow.
It's all good. Let's just have some fun here. It's all good. I mean, what we talked about playgrounds a little bit here. Best playground to play at in New Haven.
To play at in New Haven?
Yeah.
Edgewood Park.
Edgewood Park. Yeah, right away. Like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. About in regards, I know you had the 78 points, everything else, but it might be a little different, this answer here. Best game you ever played in your life at any level?
My junior year at LSU, we played BYU in the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was one of my best games I had at LSU. I ended up scoring 32 points. And here's the kicker. I didn't even get to play the game yet. That game. Shaq gets 12 blocks and he gets played of the game, but I get 32 points.
Yeah. Let him know he stole that from you. I'm sure you might have reminded him once or twice. Best team you ever been on at any level?
My freshman year of high school.
That state
like
chip.
Like I said, out of the 12 of those guys, 9 of them went on to play Division I basketball.
Speaking of which, here, your all-time starting five at Cross, who would it be? Positionless. You can make it positionless.
Well, I got to put my father.
Okay.
My Uncle Jiggy.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Campbell.
Okay.
Who my other two would be? Now this would be hard right here. Excluding myself, I would never put myself at all time. I would probably. Oh, how can I forget Earl Kelly?
I was waiting for him.
One of my idols growing up. How can I forget Earl Kelly?
Mm.
And the last one would probably be Jeff Hoffler.
Yeah. Who's the best to come out of Cross?
Oh, hands down, my father, Super John.
Okay. Now, you've seen a lot of basketball your whole life. We're gonna still keep it in Connecticut, your area here. Like best high school play you ever seen that in your era.
In my era?
Your era.
The best one, I'm gonna give it to the gentleman that played at Warren Harding, William Frenchie Tomlin.
Yeah, I've heard that name. Yeah.
Oh man, was a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Was a monster.
Mm-hmm. Now, I heard that name. Also, too, and I'm sure you you may have gotten this too. And me coming up here as far as for school and everything here, I've learned to appreciate basketball no matter where it's at here. You know, why Connecticut don't get the love it deserves sometimes when you talk about hoops.
Oh, well, I think, I spoke about this a few times. I think we're still, I want to say, behind the times. A lot of states have incorporated the shot clock.
Okay.
And I think a lot of our kids need the shot clock, in this era, especially if they're trying to go to play college basketball.
Yeah.
Secondly, I think a lot of our kids are leaving public schools to go to prep schools, which is hurting.
Yeah.
Which is hurting the public school basketball. We played against the gentleman that should be this year's state player of the year, the big fella from Bristol Central.
Mm-hmm.
I have to, take my hat off to this gentleman because, even though, he signed with UConn, but prep schools were all over this kid.
Oh, I'm sure.
And his main focus was to stay at Bristol Central because, his mom passed and she played at Bristol Central.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted to honor his mother. So, I salute that gentleman, what I'm saying, for not taking the prep school route. And like I tell a lot of these kids, if you got game, coaches are gonna find you, regardless of where you are.
Right.
It doesn't take just going to a prep school to get, a basketball scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we're just behind times right now in Connecticut.
Yeah. No, but it's definitely a lot of players, great athletes, male and female around here. Like I've learned that throughout the years. Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask, how was it, man? Like Hill House Cross. I mean, do you still to this day, even as a coach, do you still get charged for those games?
Oh, all day.
Yeah.
It's like a Duke Carolina game.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the household, I had my stepson and my daughter. Unfortunately, they chose blue and white.
Unfortunately.
And I tell them like this: I'll cheer for you all day, but when it comes to Cross and Hill House, you can hang it up. I'm going with red and white all day.
I want you to do well, but this is what I'm going.
Yeah.
Oh, someone who should have made
that's a Hatfield McCoy's though. Cross and Hill House.
Yeah. No, most definitely. I was fortunate to catch a couple of them because a couple of them they actually moved over to Southern back when I was around it. They moved a couple of those games over there, so I got to see a couple.
Well, you might not. You might be around my age, or a little younger, but that's when we started playing our games at Southern.
Okay. Yeah. Now I'm a little younger, but I know they started playing them over there, so I got to see a couple of them. Somebody who should have made it. However you want to define made it.
Someone that should have made it. Earl Kelly. Earl was the number one leading scorer coming out of high school. Put UConn on the map.
Yeah.
I don't care what everybody say about Ray Allen and all that. Earl put UConn on the map.
Yes.
Unfortunately, life throws us curveballs.
Mm-hmm.
But Earl Kelly definitely should have made it.
Yeah. There was a book on your life. What would you name it?
A book on my life. Ooh, wow. That's a good question. That's hard to say. It's a hard one to say. I guess I can't come up with. I'm stuck.
It's all good. No, don't worry.
I'm stuck on that.
Something
That's
to
a
think
good.
about. Something to
That's
think
something to
about
think
though
about.
when you do put one together. So give you some thought by
Yeah.
the time you put one together here. Best part about being Maurice Williamson.
Uh, Best part about me is my family.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm very family oriented person. I've always been that way growing up. If you see me, you saw me and my cousin Dink together. We were always together.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, I'm if I'm not home, I'm probably at one of my aunt's house
Yeah.
or one of my cousin's house.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very family oriented.
Yeah. Nah, good stuff here. I know you've had a few of these, but what's three of your proudest moments that stick out in your life?
Proudest moment. First proudest moment will probably be, scoring 78 points in the game. My second proudest moment will probably be, attending LSU.
Mm-hmm.
My third proudest moment, and I'm pretty sure she wouldn't believe that I said this, but watching the birth of my daughter.
Yeah. Nah, that's good stuff, man. Nothing like daughters. I have one, man. I'm late bloom. I got a little 7-year-old, so
Oh, enjoy while you can now, 'cause they're
that's what I'm here.
expensive.
Oh no, I'm starting to get a feel for that now. So yeah, I can order. I'm like, damn, what's gonna
So
happen
just
later?
I got four girls,
Yeah.
one boy.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
enjoy it now.
Yeah. Nah. Take heed to that here. You feel you got your just due?
Sometimes I don't, but I'm happy with how my life is turning out. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
I, I really have no regrets. I mean, minor regrets, but uh, I'm content on how things went.
Yeah. Now, and we got a whole lot. God willing, life. You got a lot more to go here, man. So at this point in your life, you speak. What advice would you give that 17, 18-year-old Maurice Williamson? This Maurice right here. What advice would you give him?
Uh, the advice I would give myself, I would tell him to stay grounded. Stay to your beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think, like I said, only one regret that I probably would have had was, once I got to LSU, I was a shy person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Didn't go out to parties or nothing like that. But I tell everybody, you have your alter ego. So
Yeah.
Maurice ended up turning into Mo.
To Mo. Yeah. Yeah.
So I would tell Maurice, let Mo come out later on in life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
buckle down in school.
Mm-hmm.
Like I tell kids, I'm saying that have academic problems, whatever. I say, you're not the only one. I had it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hide from it. I got
Right.
suspended for not going to study hall. Not going to class. I did it. So
Yeah.
that's when Maurice turned into Mo. So I tell Mo to hang back. You got a few more years till you can come out.
Nah. I hear you. I hear you. What would your mom and pop say about you now?
My mom and pops would say that I will hope they would say that they're proud of how they raised me. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's one thing. I tell my kids. Know, every day I wake up, I try to live up to the name of that my last name.
Yeah.
You got to live up to that last name. You don't do
Mm-hmm.
anything to dishonor that last name.
Mm.
And my kids could tell you there's nowhere they can go in New Haven, probably state of Connecticut, with that last name and somebody not knowing who your grandfather or your father is. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever you're doing, it's going to get back.
That's right.
So I cherish that, and I hope my family, my mother and father, God rest their soul, they, they're happy that I uphold their name.
Nah, definitely. Lastly, man, what's on deck for you? What's next?
What's on deck for me? Hopefully, in the next few years, I can run my own high school basketball team right now, but I'm still enjoying, coaching at Wilbur Cross, being the assistant coach and JV coach. But, my ultimate goal was to one day, be the head coach of a high school basketball team.
Nah, that's soon to come. Nah, Maurice, I want to say, man, like, one, obviously, you lived, as far as who your father was. Me being a Nets fan, obviously, every Nets game I got to see his name in the rafters. So just me being a Nets fan, so I you know what time it is in regards to that. But just you yourself, me coming up to Connecticut to start college and my adult life, as I always like to say, man, like I always just heard your name, always just heard it. And then later on, to have a couple of guys that actually know you and spent some quality time with you and everything else, and they such a great person you are. And even for this little bit of window of time, I got to see that. And I just want to say this, thanks for, you mentioned being humble and being very humble here. And I just appreciate all that you've done for the city of New Haven, to whoever else you touched outside of New Haven, whether it's Baton Rouge, across the world, man. Because like you said, that last name rings bells, not only in Connecticut, but outside, man. And, just for me being a fan, just to sit here and just have this conversation with you, I'm excited. Little kid comes out, and I say that all the time, just my opportunity just doing this stuff here. But it comes out, and I had to keep the little kid inside of me just talking to you, man. Because like I said, I'm very excited I had this opportunity. So I just wanted to say thank you just for the opportunity, just to share a little bit of your world, man. I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you, you inviting me up onto this podcast. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully we can chop it up again on some
Definitely.
other topics. Anytime, you got my math. So
Yes.
you just, hit me up, let me know. I'll be gladly, join again.
Definitely, man. I look forward to you get that head coaching gig too, and whatever else is to come to, man. So absolutely, I'm gonna hold you to that. I got it on tape now too. So if you ever try to curve me, I can send this to you.
I know you thought I was curving you, but the season will,
Oh no, I knew that.
Rough,
I knew that. So, that's why I fell back. I knew that.
Okay.
I
I appreciate your patience with me.
Nah. Well worth the wait, man. Nah, thanks, man, and be well.
Okay, you too. Thank you.
No doubt. Peace, man.
Peace.
Just pausing because, like I said, just having these opportunities, man. Like I said, I know, Maurice walks and breathes the air, same air I breathe, but he's done some things with his life here. Like, it's just real cool, and for him to be level-headed and grounded. Like I said, that's just a testament to who he is, to his family, neighborhood, everything, man. So I'm just really, really appreciative of all this. But with that said, I'm just gonna step aside. I put my hand over my heart. That means I feel you. Yeah.